welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for the challenge All-Stars Episode 7. As always, my name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
Jeyyy.
How's everybody doing tonight? Real weird not having anything to do on a Wednesday night this week.
Oh, yeah. It was. And
It was weird, Zach.
Yeah, I said it was. I don't know.
Hey,
It was
it
weird, man. Yeah,
Was it?
it was weird.
But was it weird?
No.
You know, like,
Yeah.
it was strange to not have, like, an urgency, like, oh, we got to watch this and get this up. Because, I mean, like, All-Stars is its own thing, and, like, not everyone watches it. Because with double agents, typically, I'd say at least 50% watches live, right? Or, like, when it's airing, right? Or at least the night of. Like, with All-Stars, you never know. Like, people may wait 3-4 days. Some people, like, in our Patreon, they're waiting until the whole season's over and they're just going to binge it.
Oh, yeah.
That would be very hard to just avoid spoilers.
To stay away from it.
But you know, it is different.
I mean, if you're not big on social media, you could probably do it just fine.
Well, I'm huge
Yeah, but in
on social
today's
media.
day and age, Han, how many people are not big into social media? What is the percentile there? Because I would say it's 80-20.
I don't even. I really
Where
wouldn't
did you
know.
pull that out?
I think that is a very fair guesstimate that 80% of the population are involved on social media.
Of the population
because
in the world, or of the
here's the
population that
world.
watches the challenge?
world.
Oh no, I think you're wrong on that. 80% of the world.
The world.
I think that's super high.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
100%.
All right, well, let's just go towards the demographic that the challenge gears itself towards. I would say at least 80%.
80% of challenge fans.
Yes.
I would say challenge people are involved in the show. I mean, on social media, yes. So, Twitter essentially has globally 187 million daily active users, but there's 7 billion people in the world.
That's not 80%.
Not even close.
No.
Now,
It's
again,
not.
Twitter, when you bring in Facebook, that's going to bring the numbers like sky high, right? Because like we know a lot of people that have Facebook that don't have Twitter, or you know, even Instagram and things like that. So
Most of our friends don't have Twitter,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say a lot of them don't.
If anything, Instagram is the big one now, because a lot of Gen Z people don't even have Facebook. They just do Instagram.
But Instagram's owned by Facebook. Like
It
it's all
is,
the same.
it is, but it's a different platform. I'm telling you, my sisters are
We're not
college.
arguing.
I know. I'm just saying, my sisters are college and high school age, and they think that Facebook is for old people. They think I'm old because I have a Facebook.
I don't like having a Facebook. I have to have one out of necessity for buying and selling, and then like work-related things. You got to do work-related things.
I've got to do work-related
So
things.
it's
Well-
a necessary evil at this point.
Well, and for me personally, you're actually still blocked on Twitter.
Yeah. I haven't missed anything. I don't.
You don't know that.
I doubt. Like nobody's texted me like, "Can you believe what Jake said?" So the
I
fact
don't
that you're not
know.
rocking the boat,
I've been stirring the pot.
yeah, you've
on
been
Twitter.
replying to everybody be like, "King."
Yeah,
That's what got me blocked.
that is.
Hashtag vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been blocked for I guess what is it, 3-4
I'm
weeks.
about
now?
to vibe on out of here if you say that again.
Do it. I freaking dare you. We haven't even gotten into the episode. Do
Hannah
it right
got
now.
mad at me the other day because I was showing her some old I was showing her like some really bad like Christian like early 2000s bands and like 38th Parallel and things like that.
Oh,
These are
man,
deep
yeah.
cuts, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I got to it was like suggested, it was like POD Southtown, and I was like, oh, this song still goes pretty hard.
Yeah.
And she was like, don't ever say that again. And I was like, no, this song does though.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't say that phrase a lot, but like
No,
it doesn't even matter if you like new metal or not. Like that song
I
is.
hated that sentence came out of his
Yeah.
mouth.
But how else would you describe that?
It's a banger.
There you go. That's slight years better.
It's slight years. It's slight years better.
But so we hear POD on this episode.
Yeah, I know. That's why I kind of brought it up.
Boom has never been one of my favorite songs by them.
Yeah, it's probably one of their worst.
Don't care for it. I know
But
it.
it's so popular. Like, you hear it and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I know that song.
But I just don't care
You
for it.
want a fun fact?
Yeah.
In the music video, they're playing ping pong against other people, and they're playing against the band Blindside, which also I showed her that night.
That's another good one. A lot of old school Christian bands we can throw out there, but shout out to POD, Fundamental Elements of Southtown, and I actually liked the album after that too, Satellite.
Yeah,
those two albums are top notch to me.
Yeah, they had Snuff the Punk and then Brown before that, and they're just like, eh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
they started to trend more to the alternative route after that.
They got Jason Truby, who was the guitar player from Living Sacrifice, which was a metal band. He took over for whatever that guy's name that left, and then they just kind of started. I didn't listen to many after that. I don't know. I think I had the album after it, but that's when I kind of stopped listening to that style of music. Honestly,
right?
It's good times. Good times, great oldies.
I think so.
You want to talk about the episode? You know what? First of all, though, patreon.com/mashes podcast. By the time you listen to this, we probably have already done our Zoom hangout with
patrons,
our bloodline specific level patrons. And
but if you're listening to this before 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday, May 16th, go ahead and jump on in there.
Patreon.com/mashes podcast. This is I'm planning on this going up tonight, which is technically the 15th. So we will be doing that tomorrow. But again, I don't control your life. I don't know when you listen to this. But we're going to try to be doing these more often now that we're not recapping 2 shows concurrently.
Definitely frees us up a little bit.
I hope that because how well this season of All Stars has gone, that MTV realizes they just need to have a perpetual motion of seasons, like main seasons on MTV, and then offshoot seasons on Paramount Plus, and don't overlap them. Like, give them like a week or 2 off between.
Yeah.
Yes, good lord.
Because here's the thing, in our Slack group for Patreon, someone posted an article from one of the producers, and they said over 100 past competitors have reached out about being on future seasons.
That's insane. Who all do you think has reached out?
Almost everyone who's been on the show. There's very few who probably haven't.
Anybody who's been an anybody on the show, or anybody who's been a somebody on the show.
I'd say there's very few people who I think wouldn't have reached out at this point.
Siobhan.
Here we go. You can't just
you can't just throw out names.
You can't do that.
So here's the thing, because like even we brought it before Landon. His thing was always, well, we never knew the location, we never knew what our living conditions were going to be like, and we never knew like what the format or what prize money was.
And it was a long period of time to be gone.
Yeah, and if this is a more condensed shooting schedule, and you kind of know where you're going, and it may be $500,000, even if that's split up from a team. They used to split like $300,000 for like a team of 6 or something.
Yeah.
So like it's way more competitive, like money wise. Like the risk reward is there, and like I think they're gonna see people. Unless you talk to Alyssa, like they're gonna see. Everyone was like, "This was awesome."
Yeah.
Well, and even like, all right, so we went into this season not knowing who a handful of these people were. Like we just had zero background on Hasela, Tech, Alyssa.
And that's our own fault. I mean, we just haven't watched those old seasons.
Latarian. But I would say, other than
Alyssa,
even Alyssa in her own right for what she did, you kind of, but especially for the likes of Hasela, Tech, even from a competitive standpoint, and Latarian. I mean, these are people that now you care about, right?
Yeah,
they've been great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hasela's weird. Like, we'll talk about her tonight more.
But her watchability rating is up there.
She brings a good level of, like, I don't know. We'll get into it. But, yeah, like, Latarian, like, if they're like, oh, Latarian's coming back, like, 100% get it. Like, one, great competitor, it seems now. Even though apparently in the past he wasn't. And then, like, he just is all around, like, a good guy.
He's so nice. He's down for whatever.
I read we referenced a live that someone recapped on Reddit, and he said that Kendall wrote him a letter at one point, and he's like, it means a lot to him, and so he put it in his Bible to keep for later and to just always have it with him.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry my eyes out.
They have those Latarian, Kendall, Kellyanne, and Nehemiah are all like super close now. Kendall and Kellyanne are starting like a yoga thing together. Because of this.
Unbelievable.
I can't say enough good things about this season. Like, there's a couple of things that are dumb. Like, it's kind of stupid that some of these people made the final. But other than that, like, that's not their fault. It's a format thing.
Well, and, like, every season we've ever watched, there's typically, like, that even if it's just the one down episode where you just, it usually falls within the last couple episodes before the final, right? And every this episode tonight was incredible to me. Like,
so that's one thing. Apparently, those 4 that I just mentioned talked about on Instagram Live. They were saying future episodes need to be an hour to 2 hours. Now, I don't want to get into...
Really? 2 hours is a long time.
That's the thing.
But I don't think it's a stretch to say you could add 10 to 15 minutes an episode.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's different.
You're not constrained to typical, like, TV schedules where, we got to hit a half-hour break. So you can be like, this one's an hour and 15 minutes. Well, this one had more content to talk about. This one's an hour and 26 minutes. Like, who cares? You can do whatever you want. It's a streaming service. It's like Netflix. A lot of their original stuff, like, it'll just run the length of the story of the show.
And it's not always the same
Some
exact
episodes
time.
are 50 minutes, others are an hour 20.
Yeah, and like, you just
I'd be
make it work.
totally fine with that.
And
like if we have an episode where there's not as much that happens, don't put in filler that's going to make the episode feel like it's dragging.
Yeah, just keep it the format of people are talking, hanging out, daily, deliberation, elimination. Just keep it. It's easy. And that's the number one thing I've seen from even past competitors. They're just like
Angela Babick.
Well, she doesn't really count.
But she did tweet out
she's watching it.
That's what the format needs to be. It needs to be the daily and elimination and your drama all in one episode every episode.
Well, yeah, she was on one of those seasons that was like super drawn out and like we
haven't had one of those seasons since
Final Reckoning. But like going back to like, I think Laurel just started watching episode 1 this week, and she was talking about how great it was, and like, this is the format that the show needs to be, and it brought the fun side of things. And the producers have said they've leaned into the comedy and like nostalgic part, and like, yeah, it's
that's
perfect.
part of what makes it so enjoyable to watch.
Like, this is not the highest level of competition we've ever seen. If you watch that first daily alone, you'd be like,
it's
oh my
pretty
god.
sad.
But it's also not people who don't care either.
No.
Yeah.
They're all trying.
Yeah.
And because there's also, we've said it every episode, there's consequences for losing.
Yes.
Yep.
As there should be.
Yeah. I don't know. I literally, like, I get why it's only 9 episodes. At the same time, it sucks because we're just going to be without it for a while. But I think there's no way this doesn't get more pickups in the future to do more seasons. Unless, like, the budget's just out of hand. Like, we got to cut the prize money down a little bit. But... like, I've only heard good things about it. And the fact that you've had so many possible big names that, like, you could bring some more watch, like so imagine, like, you get, like, Sarah Rice back.
Or like
her and Susie together.
If Sarah came back, I'd lose my crap.
Like that, I mean, that's a possibility. Because, like, it's a completely different thing. And I don't know. Other than, like, the weird gang up on Kendall, like, to where they just were mean to Kendall for no reason. It's I don't know. It's just great. I'm sad that this was episode 7. But again,
2 episodes left, right?
Yeah. I'm assuming there's still going to be a purge in the final.
There's got to be. There's no way there's not.
Otherwise, there's 12 people in this final,
which is insane.
And it's an individual winner.
There's definitely going to be there has to be.
I would assume so. So, anyway, let's get into episode 7. Mark started the episode off, speaking of what I was saying a minute ago. He said his beef with Kendall is squashed, which we still kind of don't know. Yeah,
I didn't understand why that was in the first place.
He just said they're in 2 different places. Now, Hycella's thing is a whole nother thing. I don't get that one, but...
when Mark sat down on the couch, Derek ran over and, like, jumped across. I swear, I was going to put money on it. I was so sure that Derek was jumping into Mark's lap. But when they cut over, he was, like, just a few inches over.
Why do you assume that?
It just looked like he was jumping into his lap, and it was so weird.
What if he did? Why is
that's
that
what
weird?
That's what I expected. I expected him.
I'm missing what's weird right now.
It's weird that it didn't happen because I was like, it looked like he was jumping straight into his lap, and then it didn't happen, and just threw me off because it looked like that's exactly what he was doing.
Jay, do you remember the TV show So Weird?
That's so weird.
No, not That's So Raven, but so
Right,
weird.
yeah.
It was on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
It was like Disney's X-Files.
I'm real perplexed that you're weirded out by that, Han.
That it didn't happen.
Well, what'd you think about Anissa and Hisela and the blanket together outside?
Okay, well,
here we go.
we got to that, and I was like, oh, I was thinking in my mind, I didn't realize they were so close.
You were thinking in your mind?
God, I can't stand you.
I think with my mouth.
And to go boo, 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 boo.
I'm going to leave. Because I had things to say about this.
I want to hear it.
I didn't realize that Anissa and Hisela were so close. Now, I know the last episode we watched during the elimination, they had to go, all the people had to go and vote who to go in. Mm-hmm. And somebody said Anissa, and Hisela got mad. And I was like, oh, huh. And so seeing this right here where they're in the lawn chair giggling together, I thought, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense, but I didn't realize they were so close. And then one of them, I think, one of them said that Anissa knows her kids and that they're very close in real life, personally. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I had like a little sub note, they would be a good pairing for the best friend season.
Well, we'll get into it. I don't get. Well, I'll wait. We got plenty to talk about with that coming down.
I know.
One thing I do need to note, which just point of reference, I didn't point out Tan at the time because I wanted to surprise her with it.
Sorry.
Surprised you with it too, huh?
I got a kiwi in my throat.
A whole
seed.
A whole kiwi?
No, the seed.
Those are very small.
They're
seeds.
really little. How did you choke on that?
It's still a seed.
Just
itched.
Darrell had on tie-dye Crocs while he was outside running around.
No,
yes, he
I
did.
saw it.
Great
and
choice.
you got so excited.
You could use some tie-dye Crocs.
I'm gonna buy
No.
another. I'm gonna have an indoor pair and an outdoor pair.
No.
Next wedding y'all go to, he's wearing tie-dye Crocs
No,
and a bolo
because the
tie.
next wedding we go to is my friend Claire's. And
Perfect.
hers is...
It's the perfect.
I don't care
No,
what she
I
thinks.
will... No.
I'll go with him and wear the same thing.
Yeah.
You're not invited.
I don't
Yeah.
We'll crash it. We're the
I
wedding.
can. I
crashers.
can go.
He knows her.
Why am I not invited?
She
I
didn't
didn't
invite
know-
you
She owes it to me.
I didn't know I was
for
invited.
not going out with you?
No. Okay. She did turn me down. But she owes it to me. She owes it to me for trying to set me up with
Oh yeah.
lunatic. All right?
Yeah, we can't talk about that though.
I'm going to the wedding.
I doubt
Well,
it. I think it's on your birthday.
All the more reason.
We then had after Darrell's Crocs, Mark outside, and like Jimmy and some others inside, like coaxing him on
Hisela and somebody else.
to like strip.
Yeah, Jimmy said Mark is like the hot stripper you hire for your mom's 50th birthday so
That's
that
what
she
she
doesn't
said.
feel weird about touching him because he's not younger than her. He's her age. And then Jimmy yelled at him to take his clothes off. And I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, Mark, do what you gotta do.
Jake, would you hire Mark to be a stripper at your mom's birthday?
She hasn't turned 50 yet. So it's on the table.
And we know that she was a big fan of Bret Michaels because she named you after him.
But what does that have to do with?
Yeah, what does that have to do with Mark?
Would she be down for Mark stripping for her birthday?
I still don't see the correlation.
I don't either, but it'd be much better to have Mark than Bret Michaels currently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Um.
Maybe I can ask her.
Yeah.
Ask her, and then
Who's
and
Mark?
then here's the thing:
Should I get her on the horn?
No.
ask her tonight so that we can talk about it on the Zoom call with the patrons tomorrow. Bring us the answer then.
Okay.
And if you want to know the answer, patreon.com/motionheadpodcast.
Yeah, we speaking of what we talked about earlier, this is where POD came in on the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, they just looped the first part of the chorus like 3 times, and it was just, I've never heard that version before because they just did it to make it fill the time. So good job, guys, I guess. But again, probably the most overrated song that they've done, I would assume.
POD.
Yeah. Oh, again, it's fine. It's a fine choice for if it fits the narrative.
It worked.
So we get into the daily. It's an individual daily. They call it rib cage pass. I guess because they thought people would be falling on their ribs on the things while they're jumping.
Or the truck itself, the platforms
That's kind of the direction I
are
was going.
rib-like.
Your ribs don't
Like
go.
But it's the
But those
side
were
of the
like the
body of the
ribs.
truck.
I assumed it was because like when you have to jump, you catch right here.
We're on the same
this.
wavelength.
We weren't just on the
as
same
usual.
wavelength. We were right.
You're
We
you're
were
right.
right.
We were
Your
right.
ribs are not on the outside of poking out like perpendicular.
Would you have preferred?
My ribs
preferred-
I
stick
would have
out.
preferred. No, they don't. That you rubbing your ribs does not prove what I've preferred.
Yeah, hands checking on her ribs right now. You what?
You said, would you have? Preferred?
Oh, would you have preferred they be on the inside of the truck? Because then you can't have a game.
You could.
So for this case, they had to. It was almost like a surgical matter. They had to bring the ribs outside.
Look at Dr. Engel right here. I'm all for it. This is the direction I want to take this episode tonight.
I'm a doctor.
Yes. Keep it up.
I don't-
Accent the rest of the episode.
Yeah, he has an accent in general.
Yeah.
People,
It doesn't
people have
count.
accused you of being fake. That's
I've also been accused of being George W. Bush.
Junior. Young.
Yeah.
Wait, George W. Bush Jr.?
He's the senior, right?
What?
Is George H.W. senior?
Well, there's
Yes.
George H.W. and then there's
It's George W.
But he's not.
That's-
Is he Junior?
No, but that was the joke. We called him Junior because he's supposed to be the young George W. Bush. As in a junior George W. Bush.
Did you guys think that people were going to do as bad as they did on this? I didn't know. Like, we didn't know that how long they had, but a lot of people just didn't get any done.
It was a worse turnout than I expected, but here's the thing. When Anissa and Hisela went first,
They didn't do anything.
they didn't do anything, but Anissa, she was like, I know I'm not going to get any balls back, so I'm just trying to get to the next platform so that I am further along than Hisela so that I'm not in last place.
Which is a smart move.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, they both ended up with 0.
But she got further.
But she got further, but I didn't hear anything about the distance that you make meaning anything at the end of the day if
Yeah.
you didn't get any.
But generally, that's kind of the rule.
But Hisela lost. Like, she lost, so she didn't go as far.
My question, I guess in the middle of that, because it was before it ended, I just didn't understand if it really even mattered how many beams you got to if you didn't even get any balls.
Well, then otherwise, how would you?
You just throw all the women into elimination.
You'd have to put everyone who got 0 in elimination. So it has to be like whoever tried the most, and Hisela went the least amount of ribs, whatever. And so
That's right. They are ribs.
Derek jumped in the lead early with 3. You know, no one else for the guys really did a lot. You know, Big Easy ended up getting 2. I think Alton got 2. Yes fell, but him and Big Easy kind of had the same amount. He didn't fall all the way off, but you know, I thought Derek had it, honestly, for the guys.
I think Derek thought he had it.
So basically, all the girls, other than Kellyanne, no one scored, right? Kellyanne was the only one that got one.
Kelly
she got
was the
one.
only girl that. Yep,
Ruthie didn't get one?
she did not.
Oh, that's right. She didn't.
Because Ruthie fell.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of short. And, you know, John A., as you know, we didn't even pick John A. and thing. She's trying. You got to give her that. Like,
Yeah,
she's out there.
she's not a quitter, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so I did appreciate that. And I was like, she's killing it. And then I was like, well, comparatively.
Yeah.
And
Killing your expectations of her.
Well, she says she's like, I'm playing like a low key, which that's easy to say when you're not a front runner. Like, oh, I'm just playing a low key. But you know, shout out to her for you know
Trying.
going.
I really liked Derek and Hisela's like news anchor play-by-play while the other people were competing.
See,
I think that's the fun little, just neat little entertaining things that they did in older seasons that they don't do anymore. Because like these newer seasons, everybody's so serious,
Well,
and this was so
except Devin and Kyle.
yes, except for Devin and Kyle, and sometimes Josh.
No, Josh
But
is very
listen,
serious.
sometimes we don't know what is going on with Josh.
I would say Hisela had a Josh level of confusion tonight. I didn't understand where her motivation came from in a lot of this. But we'll get to
But
that.
that's later in this episode. I really liked the little play-by-play. I thought that was cute. It was funny, very lighthearted.
Well, then Mark came in, and he got all 4 balls. Only person that got all 4.
Well done.
Just destroyed it. So the losers were Hisela and Big Easy. And, I thought Big Easy actually did better than some of them, but I guess he didn't get as far after the 2. And then so the winners were Mark and Kellyanne. And
that means they're going straight to the final.
Yes. Immediately to the final, because, we all know there's only 2 episodes left, and the final was going to start next episode. But the losers have to obviously go into elimination as a team. So it's Big Easy and Hisela as a team. And when they get back to the house, Derek just throws out Nehemiah's name. And I was like, well, I know that they've kind of been playing like they don't like each other, but like I don't know if it's like for the show or if like that's a real thing.
Well, the thing was, Derek and some of the other guys were asking Big Easy who he would want to go against. And Big Easy said that he would feel most comfortable going against Nehemiah. But then he said, ultimately, it's not his choice. It's up to however the house votes. And that's when Anissa pipes up, and she says that she won't even do anything. If she's chosen by the guy that's chosen by the house to be partnered with in elimination, she said she wouldn't even do it.
Yeah, she threatened to quit if anybody picked her because she didn't want to go against Hisela. And
then we had a montage of all of her eliminations that were the last elimination before the final, and that's why.
Man, her cousin was so bad on Battle of the Bloodlines.
I don't even remember her.
Yeah,
I don't either.
That should show you how bad she was. I saw her face in that little montage, and I was like, wow, I forgot about her. Yeah, it's again, like, it's strange. Hisela says she wants Darrell or Yes because they haven't gone in yet, and she said Derek did good, and even though he hasn't gone in, he would have won if Mark didn't win. Mm-hmm. And, like, I get that to an extent.
Yes, I understand to an extent, but also you don't want to choose someone that has a big advantage over you in an elimination.
Yeah,
Are you saying Nehemiah had a big advantage over Big Easy?
No, she was talking about Derek or Yes.
No.
Who I think are both very, very good competitors. And I personally would be afraid to go against them in elimination.
I think it depends. Like, it depends on if it's like what the elimination is. Because, again, we've seen Big Easy take out Wes in an elimination. Like, Hall Brawl was just a mass thing. And by the way, Big Easy's win over Nehemiah in the duel.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it even counts.
It doesn't,
because Nehemiah didn't even get to do anything.
Thanks for just laying it all out before I could.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that whole... There should never be an elimination like that ever again. I don't think there has been, but that was just dumb.
Because Nehemiah didn't even get to say, I can do more. Big Easy's like, oh, I can do it all. I'm like, well, sorry, Nehemiah. He just gets to try. And then he did it, and it was over.
Yeah, Nehemiah never even got the opportunity to attempt it.
Yeah, and they didn't. Obviously, they didn't go into all that whenever they showed that clip later. But I was like, you can't really hold that one against Nehemiah. But we go to the deliberation. Anissa starts talking first. She kind of like
for Hisela.
Yeah, but again, I don't understand their dynamic. Obviously, the vote was weird. Like, it was all over the place.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop. Anissa obviously tells everybody of Hisela's, opinion on, anybody who's already seen at least one elimination doesn't need to go into this one. They need to choose someone that's not gone in yet so that they're not getting basically a free ride to the final, which I understand. And then Jimmy says that she doesn't even care what anybody else wants and throws her first vote to Derek.
Which made no sense.
Yeah.
0 sense. That's a burn. Like, it's such a stupid burn, too. Jimmy's not the highest level strategy player. I mean, that's not what she's ever been known for.
Well, because Jimmy started to vote for Derek, it became a tie between Derek and Nehemiah.
I don't... regardless of that, like, apparently, like, it's come out after this episode that Anissa had promised Hisela more than what was shown. She's like, I'll do this, whatever. But I don't have a problem with the way Alyssa voted. Like, I didn't want her to choose Nehemiah because we like Nehemiah. But, like, at the end of the day, like, it's her decision in the moment. And Jimmy, I think, at one point gets upset later on talking to Hissela. Like, I can't believe Alyssa did this. But in Jimmy's confessional, she's like, I'm not going to make any favors. I'm just going to choose in the moment. I was like, you're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Jimmy's not the one to be speaking on this kind of thing.
It was very hypocritical.
Surprise. Anissa's ultimately the swing vote, and she picks Nehemiah, and Yes has a problem later with who Nehemiah picked, because Nehemiah's whole defense was, we've already had people go in, why not have people, whatever, and so Yes is like, well, you just brought in Kendall, but I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it's Nehemiah's to vote, and he's got to pick somebody later on, but we then go to the night out, where they're playing What Is Love, which only reminds me of Saturday Night Live.
Right.
It is a good song, though. Like, objectively, like, it's just a catchy song to listen to.
Another banger, there, if you will.
It goes hard.
It does.
Yeah.
Please stop saying that phrase forever.
Would you rather him continue to say it goes hard or dims the facts, which
I haven't said in a long time.
I'd rather him say dims to facts.
It's been a while.
Would you rather him say dims the facts or continue to wear Crocs?
Dims to facts.
Well, guess what? They're both happening.
Would you rather him say dims the facts or wear bolo ties regularly?
I don't mind the bolo ties.
Oh,
and I don't mind dims to facts.
dims the facts.
I don't mind that quote.
It's a catchphrase.
I don't mind his stupid catchphrase.
Did I just swear on accident?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I apologize.
Were you guys expecting Hissela to just, like, in the matter of what seemed like an hour or two's time,
start talking crap on
to
Alyssa?
just, like, completely turn on Alyssa?
She said she had no problems cutting all ties with Alyssa, and I was like, that's surprising.
Like,
if that's someone you bring around your kids that you have a genuine personal relationship with outside the challenge,
that's such a rash decision.
Yeah, it's super weird. Also, I missed whatever deep-rooted connection her and Nehemiah had. We know she's seemingly fooling around with Alton.
Yes.
So if that's the vote,
different. I would say
yes, different.
But I'm missing it. I've missed a lot of stuff with Hissela this season.
That's
honestly.
what I looked at Hannah and said. I was like, I am so, like, perplexed by, like, her decision making and, like, her like, how worked up she gets over certain things. That's like, it's like Josh level to where you're like, I don't even understand your motivation.
Yeah.
Like, you're living in a world that I can't even see right now.
Well, Hissela is mad at the way Alyssa voted, even though it was a tiebreaker and there wasn't really much option there. Because Hissela even said, she's like, I wanted Yes to go in.
If Alyssa would have voted Yes, it would have tied like a three-way tie.
A three-way tie, but by the time it got to Alyssa, all the other names had been wiped off. So it was between Derek or Nehemiah. Alyssa did not really get the choice there.
Technically, she could vote for whoever she wanted.
I understand, but still. And so...
Do you think they have like a scoreboard that they view, and they just, on the scoreboard, they wipe their names off?
Yes. They just like a dry erase board. And Jimmy is like feeding into it, saying it was premeditated and this was her plan from the start, which no. And that just really confused me. But then we get the confessional from Hissela where she says she doesn't have a problem cutting her out of her life, cutting Alyssa out of her life, which really threw me for a loop, because in confessionals earlier in this episode, they're both talking about how good friends they are. They really get along very well.
Which made me think something's going to happen in this episode, because they were very much playing up their
I didn't even think about it. But anyway, I mean... And then in this other confessional, Hissela says, well, Alyssa thinks we're a lot closer than we really are. Which, if that's someone you bring around your family in real life, that's surely somebody you're relatively close with to bring around your kids. And if you're just going to cut people out of your life over something trivial and stupid like this, does she have any genuine, real relationships with people? Anybody?
I take stuff like this with a grain of salt, because this is not the first time we've seen supposedly very close friends do the whole "we're not friends anymore" on the show, and then we come out of it, and whether it's confirmed by one of them off of social media or just whatever rumors, like, they're fine.
But here's the thing: these people aren't 20-year-olds.
I get it.
These are like
get it.
40-year-olds.
I get it. I just take this stuff with a grain of salt.
I would typically, but like the way it was like doubled down on, I was like,
this is a lot.
This seems like it was like I don't even know how to rationalize what's happening, and
even if it is one of those situations where they just say I'm not friends with you anymore, and then 24 hours later they're fine. You're too old to be acting like that, to have like a genuine friendship with someone, and then even if you don't really mean it 100%, to just say that you're cutting them out of your life and that you're done with them. Like, no.
And
I would never, even if I got really mad at you, Jake, I would never say that.
Oh, see, to me, you're always dangling by a string, and I got scissors ready.
Yeah, well, regardless if it was,
This is
over
okay.
the top
So
heat of the moment. What?
I feel like that pick. So here's what happened. Jake had to pee. We had to cut after I said the thing about scissors, and he's like, "I'll jump right back in." And I felt
That didn't feel like a good.
it felt so
okay.
unnatural.
You threw out your hands like you were going to tell us how you would or would not respond.
I felt like the energy
to
didn't
us.
match.
Okay.
Jake just had to pee in the middle, and so we stopped recording, and then he's like, "I got it. I'll pick it back up." And it felt unnatural. If there's one thing
It's all natural.
we're all natural, and
All right, well,
we're transparent.
Let me get a restart. Hold on. Oh no! Don't do that.
Oh God!
that's good. That's
no.
better. That's better.
Okay. Well, anyway, whether it's just heat of the moment kind of thing or not, it is goofy.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Again, the perplexing thing to me is, like, I'm just missing the weird disconnect that Hesela and Nehemiah supposedly have that could cause this sort of, like, I can't believe you did that.
Well, it's like it's not even just,
Because what does it do to affect her?
I mean, she's the one going into elimination.
Okay. I mean, there's no good option left.
It wasn't like this was solely Anissa's decision. That's the thing. This
That's
was
the
a
thing,
group
too.
vote.
Yeah.
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 And so, like, it's misdirected, if anything.
But arguably, Nehemiah is probably the easiest remaining guy that's not Big Easy, who's already going in.
I don't know about that.
I said arguably. I didn't say definitively. It's between him and yes.
Mm-hmm. I think it depends on the elimination, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
on paper, Big
On
Easy and
paper.
Hesela should not have won this elimination.
No.
I agree. I agree.
And I still we kind of briefly talked about this, but we'll get to it in a little bit. But what?
I was just going to say, back
You held your hands up to like stop us, like we missed something important.
it bothered me that Hesela was going around talking crap about Anissa in front of her but behind her back, and then she ran to Mark and Derek telling them how she wanted Yes to go in, and I still couldn't understand why she was so mad. And then Anissa comes up and Hesela turns on her and says that she stabbed her in the back and that she's used to burning people.
Here's
And
that was the other
I
weird
was
thing.
like, I literally asked myself, am I becoming an Anissa defender? Because that is one thing she's not, is a backstabber and someone who burns people.
I don't like, you can say what you want about Anissa. She fizzles out before finals, whatever. She knows that. Good Lord. But other than that, like, Anissa's not somebody that you would be like, I can't believe how dirty of a player she is. She does it every season. Like,
oh, she double crosses everybody.
That's not her like MO. Like,
yeah, she plays a very honest game, and she's very upfront. Like, if she promises you something, she does everything she can to keep that promise.
Again, who's one of the ones spearheading that whole idea? Jimmy. again, who doesn't have a lot of room to talk in regards to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my next note is Jimmy is blaming Anissa
For the very thing she does.
saying she's caught playing her game, and to which I was like, playing what game? What game?
It's
I don't understand.
Even if they had some sort of an agreement beforehand that she would vote whatever way, they should know once you get into these voting situations, it can all change.
Yeah.
And
it's balls to the wall. You never know what's going to happen.
I don't think that's what that phrase means.
But yeah,
Did you hear what she said?
He's just going to ignore it.
yeah.
Balls to the wall. Just whatever, man.
Yeah, I've been watching. Just a little quick aside. I've been watching through all the Ink Master seasons again. On
They're fun.
Paramount. They are fun.
Those are
and
great.
I swear, at every elimination, I'm in season 5, which is the Rivals season.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I swear, every time they go down for elimination, each one was like, "I went balls to the wall. I went balls to the wall." I'm just sick of it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm sick of hearing balls to the wall. I'm sick
You're
of
also
it.
sick of hearing king, queen,
Yeah, stop.
vibes, energy.
Just stop. Stop saying the same things over and over again, because it loses. What you do is you say it ad nauseum, and
Ooh, he's pulling out
it
dictionary
loses
words.
its fervor. It loses.
Ooh, he's pulling out more dictionary words.
Am I right?
Yeah,
like,
you're
if
right.
you just say the same thing over and over again to try to enhance the point you're making, it stops. It doesn't matter anymore.
Do you ever get one of those like loops where you just say the same word a lot, and then you're like, I don't even know what this word really means anymore?
Yeah, that's like in the eliminations we watch here on this show, right? Like, all these morons are like, who wants it more? Well, I think both of them want it equally, you
Who said
idiot.
that?
Like,
in the
Leroy
double
was
agents?
one. Like, stop saying that. They want it. They both want it.
Yeah.
It's goofy. It's just a matter of
It's-
who wins and who loses.
Arissa is maybe the only outlier who like didn't
Great.
want it. And
Yeah.
went home. Well, before the next thing, Big Easy was calling out Nehemiah, and Nehemiah's like, I'm not afraid of you.
Was he calling him out, or was he just talking to him? Because I got the
I
impression.
guess it's up to your interpretation.
Well, that's the thing. I got the impression that Big Easy was just going to talk to Nehemiah, like, "Hey, man, I heard you got voted in," and so I thought it was just going to be a conversation, and that Nehemiah came in response a little overly defensive, and then it turned uncomfortably hostile.
I got it. I don't remember that hand. The whole. So you think he was coming up to be like, "Hey, bud, heard you got voted in."
I thought
Everything good?
he was literally just making conversation.
No, I feel like he was like provoking Nehemiah because he knew he was going.
I
in.
didn't
me ask
pick
you
up
this,
on
Han.
that.
When have we ever seen someone come up and be like, "Heard you got voted in, bud. Sorry to hear that."
Yeah. And he knows you're going against him.
The guy that's going into
Yeah.
elimination for sure, going up against the guy he's going against, being like, "Heard you got voted in."
I
man."
feel like it was more of a trying to get in your head type thing.
That's fine. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, like, I just didn't pick up on that.
It goes back to the duel. Like they've
And
got
it could be that I was just so flabbergasted by Hisela being
you
mad at
just-
Anissa that, like, I just was,
all sensibility was gone.
yeah, all of it was
all
gone.
balls to the wall. You just don't even know what
Your
to make
balls
anymore.
were on the wall
Yeah.
and you were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my balls off and I threw them at the wall.
Yes.
At this point, I was just like, Hisela's wild. Like, I don't even know what to make of her. And because it just kept going on. And this is when she said Denise always burns people or stabs them. And I was just like, you can say what you want. And one thing a lot of people are saying is that Anissa likes shower things. But other than that, Anissa's never been one to like take people, like, to give you her word and then turn around
You do the opposite.
and be like, I gotcha. Look at my dirty move I just pulled to get myself further. Like, it's not been her thing. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, and I don't remember the season her and Hisela were on together back whenever. I don't think I ever watched it. I think that was before any of us started watching, and that's one of those seasons that you can't really find now. But I don't know. It seemed like a lot about something that was very trivial, and it seemed like there were life-altering decisions being made to where it's like, oh, I'll cut you out of my life so fast. You wronged me once, and I'm done with you forever. And it's just like, come on, you got kids. Like, come on, what are you teaching them?
Yeah,
do
what
it-
kind
do
of
it for the
example?
Yeah. So we go into the arena. Nehemiah ends up picking Kendall, which, by the way, they talked about on the Instagram Live thing. Kellyanne and Kendall were the two that came up to Nehemiah and were like, "Hey, if you need somebody, like, we're here for you."
Kind of like Latarian did.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Katie.
They didn't show it out, but they were like, if you feel like you need someone to go with,
the spirit of Latarian lives on.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I found out through that same Instagram Live.
Is he dead?
No, but he broke some of Ace's ribs.
That would make...
Yeah.
No, I could see that.
Oh my goodness.
And, like, he didn't mean to. And, like, the thing is, like, they didn't really give him, like, parameters on, like, what all to do or, like, how hard to go. And
Latarian's never seen anything like this.
And he just, like... He didn't go as hard as he could have. And
he could have gone worse than that?
Yeah, he's still, like... He cracked Ace's ribs.
Oh my gosh.
And,
is Ace okay?
Ace was in the comments actually while they were doing that. And Nehemiah was like, "Ace, if you're out there, comment something." He's like, "But don't say monsters." And everyone's like, "Ah."
Good one.
Nehemiah's a good guy.
Without knowing the information that Kellyanne and Kendall came up to Nehemiah, I think despite what Nehemiah said in the nominations about agreeing that it should be someone that's not been in elimination yet, I still think Kendall was the right choice.
Well, and that goes out the window when you vote Nehemiah in. Like,
yeah.
It is what it is. It's self-preservation. Like, he's got to pick someone he thinks he can win in an elimination, and Kendall has already won 2 and said, "Hey, we didn't see it, but if you need somebody, I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
I think she's the right choice. We've seen how good of a competitor she is, and she really does give it her all. And then once he picks Kendall, Anissa actually starts crying.
Well, she makes the final, like, by default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It has. She said 10 years.
That would have been the perfect time to play Stains. It's been a while.
I don't know the context of, like, what that song's really about. So it could be about, like...
But just loop the... It's been a while.
Right? I guess.
Just over and over and over. Yeah. Just that one line.
Just loop that.
Sure. I don't even know how to segue from that. But the
You don't like that song? It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a Mario. That's what you sounded like.
The elimination's called Ring Clean.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote, it's an interesting elimination. I don't think we've ever seen this before in any format.
I've certainly never seen it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think any season we've seen. Basically, you got a big pole that's, 10 feet tall? Something like that? And then you got rings. Because they're on each other's, like, shoulders to pull those rings off. And there's however many rings, and they're all connected by chain. And then you have to get all the rings off, and then take it over to the side, and then make a ladder of some sorts to climb up and ring a bell. So they do that. They get on each other's shoulders. Again, this still seems like it's Nehemiah and Kendall's elimination to win. Hasela, when she jumps off of Big Easy, seems like she tears her knee up.
I thought it was her ankle.
No, it was her knee. Well, I was like, well, this is done. Like, there's no way she can climb a chain ladder. I guess I missed the part where they said only one person has to climb it, which me and you talked about just quickly.
Let's hear your grab.
I seriously thought you had to have both partners climb the ladder.
Because it's a double elimination, you're sending 2 people home. Like, I don't understand why both people didn't have to climb.
And you're bothered by this.
I just think it's a weird choice that only one person has to climb. Like, instead.
But did they even say either way?
That's the thing. I don't know. I just
because I don't remember them saying either way.
So going back to the double elimination we have had, like with Latarian and Katie, they both had to do the thing the whole time. If one of them won a round, it didn't matter. Like, they both had to win their round. Going back to Beth and Cyrus, they both had to go up and like they had to like consecutively go through the thing. And so I just assumed that they may have not said one way or the other. Well, both have to participate in the first part, and then both have to participate in the second part and finish. And so, like, it's it's not anything they explicitly said, but they kind of made a precedent to where you both have to do the thing.
especially if it's a double elimination.
Yeah.
I think if it were just Nehemiah and Big Easy on the chopping block and they just had to choose a partner to help them out, but ultimately either one of those girls was not at risk of going home, I understand. But since Kendall and Hisela were fighting to stay in the house, I legitimately thought that they had to make the ladder and each partner climb up to the top and ring the bell.
I'm not taking anything away from Big Easy. Like, I think the way he did his ladder was smarter. But I was like, oh, Hisela's hurt her knees. Like, she can't climb this. Like, they're done. Like, there's no way they can win.
So, if anything, all right, so one, I don't think those parameters were set. I don't think they set either way.
I don't either now. But.
So, that's one thing. Two, if I think that Big Easy made that decision out of, she's hurt, I have to do this way. Three, that's on, like, what seems to have happened is that, because they started on their ladder thing before Nehemiah and Kendall did. Mm-hmm. So what I'm thinking is, okay, they see it, and they see how well Big Easy's doing, so now they make a decision, well, we're just going to let Nehemiah do this thing then, because it seems to be working out well over here. If those parameters weren't set, I don't see an issue with it. Maybe it is weird. Regardless, I think Big Easy made that decision out of a feeling of necessity.
Wait, what decision?
What decision?
To take it on by himself.
Oh no, yeah, I 100% agree with that. I don't have an issue with that or whatever. Even if Big Easy did the ladder part by himself, I figured both had to ring the bell,
climb the ladder to ring the bell
for it to be over, because that's part of the elimination.
That was the argument.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about he built the ladder by himself or whatever. I think the way he built the ladder was smarter because you had more slack in the ropes.
Yeah, because Nehemiah and Kendall, what slowed them down was because they couldn't get the chain to stretch.
Okay, there's part of my thing too, right? Is like if it's just as important to have someone climbing up the ladder, then there's some sort of importance there to have someone working well with that slack, right?
I guess I'm just not understanding
the slack.
No, I know what a slack is.
Yeah, I know what slack is. I'm not understanding what you're asking.
Isn't that important too, to make sure you've got someone behind you? That being Kendall and Hisela, to handle that slack properly. I
mean, I don't think Hisela really did anything.
No, she just kind of sat there. Part.
Okay, well, then Kendall did too, but someone wasn't handling that slack properly.
Yeah. So what happened? So with Big E's,
am I confusing you? Right? You're looking at me crazy.
You're confusing me too. Honestly.
Yeah.
Good. Let's talk this out.
So the way that Big Easy made his is, instead of going like diagonal,
he went straight across.
And he made like an S pattern. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then Nehemiah then went across and then diagonal and then across, and that's
a Z pattern.
Yeah, and so that's where the slack of the chain was really tight, because they said it worked that way, but if you had the rings flush against the wall,
it didn't.
It would pull one of them off, or if you had one of them turn just a little bit, it wouldn't fit. So Big Easy's was the better way, and there's no right or wrong.
And Big Easy even said in confessional, he said, "I'm working smarter than them."
Yeah, I'm not taking, again, nothing taken away from him.
No, the way he built his ladder was really good.
My whole thing was, it just seems weird that both players that were competing didn't have to ring the bell, when ringing the bell is what finishes the elimination.
But I don't think that's on production or anything if both of them decided this is the best way to go about this.
Both of who?
There are two people on each team.
Yes.
If both people on each team decided, whether it was through necessity or watching Big Easy do it, they decided it's best for me to go up on this alone. The guys did, and the girls had to agree with that, right? Whether Hisela
I didn't know they had a discussion and agreed to that.
Hannah, listen to me.
No, you're being very confused.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You're really throwing me for a loop.
Wow, guys. At some point, Hisela hurts her knee, right? So Big Easy makes a conscious decision. There's a mutual understanding somewhere. I'm not on the field with them, so I can't give you an exact answer as to how the decision was come to. But somehow they decided it is best for Big Easy to climb this thing alone.
Nobody's arguing that.
That's not confusing then.
No.
Great.
Not.
Okay. So then in the same sort of manner, Nehemiah and Kendall decided, whether it was through watching Big Easy go up alone and how well he was doing, that it is best for Nehemiah to go up this thing alone.
But it wasn't always that. Kendall was helping him. He was going up. I get that. But I figured once one person climbed,
the other one would
climb up too.
Yeah, I'm not missing you on that. My point is that each team decided that this was the best way to go about it. I don't know why that's confusing.
Here's the thing. I think you're like going way off rails with this. I think they had the guys go first, and Kendall was waiting for Nehemiah so that she could go up too. But
that's what I figured.
Once Big Easy rang the bell before Nehemiah reached it, TJ just blew the horn.
And I'm not saying this is a conspiracy.
Why do y'all come to that conclusion?
I don't think that there was a conscious discussion and agreement.
I didn't say there was a discussion. Never once did I say there was a discussion.
To not have Kendall do anything, because we saw her. We saw her helping build the ladder.
That's not what I said.
How do you know Kendall and Nehemiah decided Kendall wouldn't climb the ladder?
Also, I never said a discussion was had. I never said.
You said there was an agreement that came to.
There's a mutual understanding at some point that Nehemiah is going to go up this on his own.
Regardless of that, let's just table that for a second. There was some vagueness to. Did you have to build the whole ladder, or did you have to just get high enough to where you could jump up and hit the bell?
Think back to, and I get this was a single elimination, not a partner elimination, right? Think back to the drywall, right? Doesn't matter how many holes you punch in, as long as you ring that ladder.
Mm-hmm. Whoever can reach it.
So, at no point were those parameters set. All we know is the bell has to be rung.
Yes, again, we're not arguing that.
Again, I think you are in one headspace, and all we were thinking was we just assumed that because it was a double elimination and both players could climb.
Also, the whole cast was freaking out when Big Easy was right there to ring it. So even they thought it's just got to be rung one time.
By saying that, and there's also very much possibility that half of the discussion was cut out for TV, and that's what made it confusing to begin with. Like they get full clarity and run throughs of everything before they get going.
We get the edited version.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And so, what probably happened is it was explained, and it's just one person has to ring the bell. We just assumed, and then now you seem very victimized by that.
No, I
feel like you're attacking
y'all are looking at me like I'm an idiot.
No, I was very confused about what you were trying to get across.
Yeah.
I don't think what I said was crazy. I think
nobody said you were
crazy.
No,
it was just we couldn't figure out what point you were trying to make.
For me to sit back and say Big Easy had to go up this thing alone.
And no one argued.
No, that was not the argument.
Can y'all let me finish? Lord, don't cut me off. Both of you, do not cut me off. Big Easy had to go up alone. Because from what we could tell, it took Casella a minute to even get back on her feet.
Yeah, she crawled from the pole across the dirt.
All right. So I'm making an assumption it's just out of the question that she's going up the thing.
Which is why we assumed she was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Big Easy had already started making his way up the ladder. They had gotten there first. They had started building it first. So if they see that's working, being Nehemiah and Kendall, then that's where I'm over here watching like, oh, they must have come to this same conclusion that this is the best way to go about it, to build it this way, and Nehemiah goes up alone.
I'm with you until you get to the point where you say they decide Nehemiah goes alone. That's where you're losing me.
Because you're taking it as I'm saying they had a discussion with each other, and that's not what I'm saying.
I'm losing you where you say they come to the agreement that Nehemiah goes alone.
I'm saying I'm assuming they come to the agreement.
You know what
because Kendall doesn't herself just say, "I'm good, you got it."
No,
that's not what I'm saying.
She was helping trying to build.
I get it. Yeah. That's not what I'm not saying. Kendall sat back and said, "You got it, I'm good." That's not what I'm saying. But if they're already watching one team do it this way and it's working, then that it comes to you naturally kind of I'm this way. If I'm in a situation where, like, it's a new sort of task or whatever, and I see this guy over here doing it this way and it's working, well, then my mind's naturally going to go to, like, I need to do it this way too, because that's working. That's what I'm saying, is that they saw that, it's working, so let's go over here and try to do it better and quicker, because Nehemiah, naturally, you would think, is quicker than Big Easy. So I don't know why that is crazy for me to sit back and be like, okay, they saw them doing it that way. It's working.
We're still not on the same page.
Regardless of that, nobody said it was crazy.
No, nobody said it was crazy. Nobody said you were out of your mind or anything like that.
It's right there. The one thing I was going to say is, now, because you've said it so many times, I think you could argue that I don't even know if they turned around and saw how close they were, because
Big Easy did say in a confessional, I'm not even turning around to look at where Nehemiah is.
I'm not talking about Big Easy.
I wasn't talking about Big Easy. I was talking about Nehemiah, because you don't want to get in your own head of, oh, I've got to hurry, and like, you don't want to screw this up, because then that can cause issues too. Regardless of that, it doesn't matter. There's so much stuff that we haven't seen. Again, the whole point was, the whole time we saw the elimination, as soon as Cecilia said she hurt her knee and she crawled over to the other thing, we're just like, they're done. That's where it ended at. We didn't have any, like, conspiracy or higher thing other than that.
But you can't argue that somehow, some way, they came to a decision that Nehemiah was going up by himself. That is on your TV screen, that he went up by himself.
He did. But...
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to pick a fight with you.
I'm not trying to fight.
But you did tell me the other day, we're going to argue about this.
The only thing I'm saying that leaves us not exactly on the same page, you said that you assume they came to that agreement. Listen, hold on.
My arms went out. I didn't say a word.
I didn't make that assumption. We saw Nehemiah went up first. Again, edited version, we don't even know for a fact that was an agreement they made. It could have been their chains. They are going to move when you climb on them. So it's probably safer for one person to go up at a time anyway. It probably would not have been very safe to have Nehemiah and Kendall go up at the exact same time. So again, because we were not given the full parameters, the full information on exactly how to win, and if not, you have to have both partners on your team ring that bell. Nehemiah's probably faster than Kendall climbing up that ladder, so he probably was just going first anyway.
Then we are making the same point in two different ways, because regardless, they had come to the conclusion that Nehemiah, whether he's the only one or the first one to go up, he's going up first.
Yeah, okay. Now we're on the same page. That was the thing. You were saying, hold on. You said that they came to the agreement that Nehemiah was going alone, and it was just Nehemiah. My argument was Nehemiah was going first.
But to me, the rule still applies whether he's the only one or the first one. He's still going up by himself.
Yeah, I maybe if we...
Because my argument was against them going up at the same time.
No, I think
I didn't understand that. That's where you lost me way out in the desert
and we weren't
somewhere.
Arguing that.
No, we were not arguing that.
The disconnect happened. We just assumed that once one went up, the next one had to go up too.
That's what I expected.
But it wasn't like you had to wait, but it's just whatever was the fastest way to get both your players up. If we went back and watched it now, knowing only one person had to do it, because from what I remember with Kendall, I kind of remember Kendall like hooking rings up on the right side, not just on the first level. And
yeah,
so
she had climbed a little and was pulling
that's where we were like, oh, they're both climbing, they both got to finish. Mm-hmm. That's where it happened. You got real upset about that.
You were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, this isn't crazy.
Because you were really confusing me.
We just got to the root of what you were trying to say, and that didn't come across to us. And nobody said you're crazy, and then you kept making the point, why do you guys think this is crazy? We're like, we're not saying that.
I didn't think it was crazy. I was trying to figure out what point you were trying to make.
Guys, in the middle of that, they played the song Take It Off by the Donnas.
They played a really good Goo Goo Dolls song earlier, too.
The playlist I had a note for this episode. This episode's playlist was really good.
What song was it by the Goo Goo Dolls?
Long Way Down? Is that what it's called?
Oh, man. You know what? I looked that up, though, and it said Kiss sang that song. No. And I was like, that's not Kiss playing this song right now.
No, that is not Kiss.
My last note for this is Kendall's first loss ever.
but she only had one elimination before this season started. It's kind of like Big Easy, like, oh, I beat you in the duel, and it's like, well.
But, I mean, she also went into multiple eliminations this season already. This was her third one, right?
This was her third,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
for this season.
Again, like, she got a lot of love and outpouring of support from not only fans, but, like, ex-cast members and stuff like Kohutta came on today and was like, nobody deserved that money more than Kendall.
Oh, I saw that. I liked that tweet.
And so I don't know.
And I don't even think we mentioned that. I mean, once Nehemiah fell down, it was.
Yeah, that was the end.
I mean, Big Easy was ahead.
He was close, yeah,
but it was over. That was it.
Nehemiah would have had to just like jump. Yeah, and it was honestly, it was a structural issue more than anything. And Big Easy just figured out what worked the best. And
he's the only one that finished that puzzle on that daily.
That's true.
I'll tell you this: both males and females in this competition are happy that team came back.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially if Gisela has a messed up knee. Like,
yeah,
you're fine with that.
Yeah.
They also, Big Easy, like, arguably the thing he's best known for is
gassing out
in the final and costing a team their win. And so, yeah, you would much rather see than Nehemiah, who's in phenomenal shape, and then Kendall, who's in phenomenal shape and has proven that she can, like, keep up and, like, do whatever.
Who both have won before, right? Hasn't Nehemiah won? Or he's won money?
I don't remember. I know he's made a final, but I don't remember if he won or not. We did get Big Easy calling himself the Choo Choo Train.
Yeah.
Did he call himself that when he beat Wes in Hall Brawl? That seems appropriate. To call yourself a choo-choo train in there.
But regardless, great job by Big Easy.
Yeah, no, again, I'm not taking anything away from him.
Really good elimination win.
He was not the favorite in that elimination by a long shot.
But he worked smarter, not harder.
Yeah. And again, like, that's I don't think that's ever been, no one's ever been like, Big Easy's so dumb. Like, that's not been a thing.
No, he's super smart.
It's
very
just
analytical.
It's just been like, he's a big dude, and so like the distance stuff is what like it hurts him. And so again, like, he's proven he was the only one that got that puzzle that other time. Kendall technically did, but it was upside down. But yeah, everyone in that house is happy that Kendall and Nehemiah are going home.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is what we were talking about at the top of the show, is like a lot of these people are going to have that they made a final now on their resume, but like, some of these people made a final just because, like, nobody wanted to pick them for an elimination partner or something like that.
Yeah.
So, again, it's weird. It's going to be weird to see where this falls canonically in the challenge as a whole, because it's not 37, but it's not
57.
It's not 57. It's not
not,
champs
you're
versus. Right. Like, it's that in between. And so, I don't know what they do from here on out. So, superlatives for this episode. Who smashed heads?
Big Easy.
Yeah. Big Easy is a good one.
Big Easy's. Yeah, I mean, even though he lost the daily, I'll give it to Mark, because Mark got all 4 balls. Like, no one else really came close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just to change it up a little bit. So, who got their head smashed?
Me again.
You're looking at the list.
Jimmy was being a big hypocrite this episode. Give it to her.
I'd say, Anissa got her head smashed by Gisela, because she's just like, I don't even know what I did.
Yeah.
And even though they said there was more that happened, like, again, maybe here's the disconnect. Is Gisela hasn't done these in like 20 years, and Anissa's exclusively done these for the last 20 years, and so they're in a completely different mind state as far as like what eliminations are, what you do when you're in those the voting situations and all that. I don't have a problem with what Anissa
see that.
did. Again, we're not great. Good job, Anissa. So let's get into. Oh, we don't do songs for this one.
Nope.
No songs. You don't get any songs this week.
Go listen to your own music.
Yeah, find your own music. Listen to POD. Let's get into the fantasy for this. I can tell you what, Hannah's gonna be
That's why I said I got my head smashed.
not looking good.
Both of these people, Nehemiah and Kendall, were both on my fantasy team, and 2 of my last 3, and they both went home.
You got one person left,
I
man.
have one person left, but it's Mark Long.
But here's the thing, like, I think even if Mark Long was killing it in the final,
They can't let him win.
he might throw it or get hurt or something just so it doesn't look like he set up this whole show to win money.
That was because like
can't
people
have
would
Mark
come
win the
out.
first season.
Yeah, there's no
people
way
would
you
come
can't
out
do
and-
it.
yeah.
He could
They'll
win
say it's rigged.
season 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. But you can't, like, we argued about that in the Slack group a little bit because people were like, no, Mark would throw, because I was like, he like wanted to prove in that elimination against Laterian that he still got it, like, because he hasn't competed in a while, and some people are like, no, he would throw it for money, and I was like, I get he can't win the final because it would be a bad look. I was like, but he wanted to make that final and prove that he's still a good competitor. I was like, but it would be kind of sketchy if he's the one that wins all the money.
Yes.
We'll see though. Maybe he'll do something and it'll change our minds.
Godspeed.
Godspeed, you Black Emperor, which is a band that I can't ever get into, even though some people really love them.
Yeah, so this segment is brought to you by Starter.
Just do it.
So we're starting off with the Godfather crown. 10 points to Mark Long. We got a little dance for Derek and Mark. It's 5 points each. Hey, you know what? The beef is squashed between Mark and Kendall. 5 points to them. Nehemiah patted himself on the back. 5 points. Everybody needs a good back patting.
Patton.
Kendall's upset about sending someone home. -5. Y'all send me home all the time.
-5 to you.
John A. is intimidated. -5. I can't remember who exactly she was intimidated by, but
Kendall, probably.
yeah. Kendall's doing it for her kids. I'm giving her 10 because you don't ever hear about her kids. If it was Corey, that'd be a -10. Per John A., she would not have been good at that, the previous elimination. That's -5.
Oh, never mind.
More Kendall yoga sessions. That's 5 points. Initially, when I saw this, my mind went somewhere that the direction of this conversation wasn't going, but I thought this was a Hisela and Anissa love session. So 10 points.
Okay.
Nice.
10 points to each?
10 points to each. And then, so I realized it, and I topped here. Nah, they're just best buds. 5 points to each of them. But they would even be best buds in prison. There's another 5 points.
They said they would be more than best buds in prison.
Ooh, well, 10 then. Make it 10.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were... Yep, you're right.
Yeah. They're like, you would be my, like, prison wife or something like that.
Yes, Darrell and Derek just running. 5 points. We're going to give 5 points to Jimmy, Kellyanne, and Hisela for doing some dad bod watching.
Mm-hmm. That's not a dad bod.
It's
though.
not, but he's not even a dad, is he?
No, he has kids.
Does he?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mark.
Yeah, he had a daughter that graduated from, like, either high school or college not too long ago.
Well, speaking of Mark, he is as Han pointed out earlier, the hot stripper you hire for your mom's 50th birthday. That is 15 points.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's the best Hisela's ever seen. 5 points to Hisela. Let's see. Hisela feels like a newborn baby learning to walk. -5. Yeah, Hisela.
Yeah. She did fall later.
You did.
Yeah.
She sure did.
Derek didn't learn anything watching. I think it was Hisela and Anissa. -5. Let's see. Here's a new twist for the points this week is that we're giving a point for each ball scored.
Okay. Okay, but you're going to do it in 5-point increments?
No, 1 point increments.
Oh my
No,
god.
You want me to do 5?
That's
needs
going to
to
make
be
it
Okay, fine.
so hard for the math.
Well, in that case, Derek gets 15.
Okay, that's fine.
Nehemiah gets 10.
Okay.
Ruthie is a half-eaten crab, -5.
That is not a ball scoring point.
She did call herself a half-eaten crab.
Yes, she did. Big Easy is the only dude in the house without a six-pack. We'll give that a -5. Look at him move, though. 5 points. 10 points for Big Easy, 2 balls scored, 10 points for yes. He got 2. Darrell and Derek. I'm sorry, Derek and Hisela with the breaking news segment. 10 points to each of them. I think these are the only points that Alton gets. 10 points for the 2 balls scored.
He didn't do much this episode.
10 points for Darrell. John A. just had a kid 7 months ago. 5 points. 5 points to Kellyanne. She got 1 ball scored. And 20 to Mark. He got 4. Let's see. 25 to Mark and Kellyanne. They won. They are also automatically safe. 10 points to each. -10 to Big Easy and Hisela, because they're the losers. And another -10 to them because they're going straight into the elimination. 35 points to Mark and Kellyanne because they're going straight to the finals.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Finals? We're final.
The final.
They got to take their finals.
We get a flashback of Anissa just missing the final. That's a -10. That's got to be painful for her to watch.
Well, she didn't watch it in real time.
But she had to relive it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anissa ain't going in if she's picked. I got to give her 5 points for standing strong on that. Hisela's also making demands about who ain't going in. That's 5 points. Jimmy don't care. 5 points. Yes gets sentimental. 5 points. You know, he gave the whole, when I have breakfast with you guys in the morning.
Yeah.
He did.
That's where my alliance starts.
And it worked. It swayed.
It did.
Yeah, well,
I
give
was
him another
really
5 because it
surprised.
worked. Let's see. Anissa loved Yes's speech. That's 5 points. We'll give it to Yes, not Anissa. We're going to give Anissa 5, though, for being the deciding vote. -10 to Nehemiah because he got voted in. 10 points to Darrell for the, now it's getting interesting. People are stabbing each other in the back quote. But he said it much more lively, and it was funny. Hisela's mad. 5 points. Jimmy thinks Anissa should have told Hisela that she was going to vote Nehemiah in. I don't think Jimmy's the one to be giving that kind of advice. -10 to Jimmy.
Oh, 10.
We got Big Easy and Nehemiah. My phone kept autocorrecting to Bug Easy.
Mine, I would say Big East.
Big East, okay.
Mine did East.
Well, 10 points to Big Easy and Nehemiah for the altercation. I got to give 15 for Big Easy's who sent your AWS home in the effing duel 1, cousin. He called him cousin.
Cousin.
But that's not one to be talking a lot of trash about. -5. Hisela just straight to it. I ain't your friend no more. I'm giving her 10 points because it's just a solid verbal beatdown. Let's see. -5 to Anissa. She lost a friend. But 10
and
points.
A prison wife.
Yeah. 10 points to both Anissa and Hisela for the heated altercation. Hisela wants to remind people who the F she is. 5 points. I want to give 10 points to Nehemiah for the swerve. I didn't think he was going to pick Kendall. -10 to Kendall because of the swerve. But turns out she knew about it. But it's fine. 5 points to Anissa because she dodged it. We get tears of joy here. 5 points, Anissa. Let's see. Oh no. Hisela's knee. -5. But she gave herself a medical assessment.
She did.
10 points.
Is she a nurse or something?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm also giving her 15 because this is just mom strength activated. Just powering through. Look at Big Easy building ladders. 5 points. Oh no. Nehemiah fell. -5. Holy crap, they did it. Big Easy and Hisela won. 50 points to each. 10 points to Big Easy for being the choo-choo train.
Yeah.
Another 10 to Hisela for powering through. -25 to Nehemiah and Kendall for losing. -5 to Nehemiah because he just can't beat Big Easy. It's his kryptonite. Nehemiah also made a comment about burning. -5.
Burning what?
He's just burning. He just said he was burning.
Oh, okay.
Kendall got an MVP chant. I'll give her 10 points for that. We don't see that often. 10 points for being the MVP. John A is at least happy. 5 points. We get a Kendall flashback. 5 points. This was sad. -10 to Kendall because, according to her quote, she has lost herself in trying to be a responsible adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This reminded her of who she wanted to be.
Yeah. And lastly, 35 points to everyone except for Mark and Kellyanne because they already got theirs for going straight into the final.
All right, so give me a second to get all this.
Yeah.
Big Easy, Jimmy, 35. This is where the numbers are going to help me out a lot this week.
Yeah, Han, you're in trouble.
All right, is that it?
That's it. Do you want to... Let's take a break. And we're back. Again, that segment is brought to you by Starter. Just do it. What do we got, Zach? Take us in live stream here.
I don't even know if I want to hear it.
This is a live stream. Well, let's just start off with...
the bad.
Well, one that we don't ever hear from. John A. She got -5, and then +5. She's at a 0 for the week.
Well, she got 35 because she made the final.
Oh, well, I forgot. I didn't even put that. She's not on anybody's
word.
team. So she ended up with 35 for the week. Congratulations.
Wow.
So for Hannah's team, Mark Long got her 125.
Hey.
He got a lot of just like random points and then won the daily and that type of stuff. Here's the problem.
Uh-oh.
You only have 2 players after Mark.
And they both went home.
Yeah,
and Nehemiah got you
things.
-15, and Kendall got you -15. So you only ended up with 95 for the week.
Dang.
Which, for reference, Jake and I both had players that scored more than that individually. So Jake, Derek got you 65, Ruthie got you 30, Anissa got you 75, Big Easy obviously got the most. He got you 110. Jimmy got you just 35 because all of our other points canceled out. Yes got you 65. And so for the week, you're at 380 compared to her 95. For me, Alton got me 45. Darrell got me 60. Kellyanne got me 80. And then Hasela, 170.
Dang.
And so I ended up with 355 for the week. So here's how it stands going into the final, which, by the way, going into the final, I have 4 players left. One, I don't think Hasela's going to do good in the final. Like, she just screwed her knee up, so I'm not counting her. But I've got Alton, Darrell, and Kellyanne, who all I think are very capable of the final. Hannah's just got Mark Long. Jake, you got Derek, Ruthie, Anissa, Big Easy, Jimmy, and yes, I'd say you got a 60% chance of winning. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my only person to go home quit. None of my people got eliminated.
I mean, I don't really, like, in full transparency, think like Jimmy or Big Easy have like a real way to win this final.
They out of the 6, they're the 2 that are least likely.
That's what I was looking at. But so we go to the results for. I am still in 3rd place, but it is only by 10 points now.
Oh, Han, you're in trouble.
It is 880 to Hannah's 890, and then Jake is at 1230. So it's going to be interesting what happens these next 2 episodes.
Because you could, I mean, depending on who wins, you could pass me.
You could have a big purge and lose half your team.
That's true. That's true.
Like, it's up in the air. Because I think from the clip,
and there will be points lost if that's the case.
Yeah,
so.
and I think from the clip we saw, it seems like they are going to pair people up, even though it's an individual final, like we've seen in the past ones, where it's like, oh, you guys got to kayak together, and then you guys got to run together, and it's going to be. I don't think the final may be as hard as
what we're used to.
Some of the main ones, just because the level of like how long these people have had off from this type of intensity, other than Darrell and Anissa. But I think it's going to be a hard final. I think they know that they've got to make it worth $500,000 to win. Like, it can't be like, oh, you popped balloons with a dart and then...
Well, there's canoeing, of course.
Yeah,
So-
it's in like 70% of finals.
Yeah.
And so, by the way...
Or kayaking.
What a pretty area, though. Like, that Patagonia where that house is.
Yeah.
I wish we could go just hang out at that house by the water.
It's
I
pretty.
wish we had money to go to Patagonia.
Oh, we
I wish
got-
we
we
had
got
Patagonia
money.
money.
We don't have money to stay in that house.
We don't have
We got
Patagonia money.
though.
Yeah.
The three of us have money.
Yeah, we have money.
You make it sound like we're in the negative over your hand.
That's just your fantasy team. Well, guys, it's been
Good
real
night.
fun.
I'm
Patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast.
Y'all say bye to hand.
Don't say bye to
See
her. We will.
Out of here.
We'll be back with you next week. Hopefully, earlier on in the week, we just had some work stuff that came up that made it record later than normal. But
No, you're not lying.
no, I know
That happened.
That's why I said it. So, other than that, we will see you guys for the first part of the final.
Have a good night, everyone.